What's up guys, it's Roger, and today we are playing some more Trials of Double Primary Weapons. Oh, sorry, it looks like Bungie wants to call it Checkmate Trials, but nobody else is going to call it that because everybody just wants to use double primary because that's what the mode really enforces in you. So let's go ahead and talk about this build in the double primary that I was using today. Now, I went for the classic combination of Sturm and Dring here. I was playing some matches earlier on my Hunter, did that build. If you want to check that out, I'll have it on the end screen for you. But then what I saw was a lot of Sturm and Dring through the day, and I was like, it makes sense, right? This Dring still feels good, the Sturm feels super solid, 89 to the head every single time. And by the way, when you get a Sturm overcharge shot, it does 159 damage to the dome piece. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Obviously, hand cannons are feeling really good just in general in Checkmate, and this is no different. Now, this combination is obviously beautiful, and when you don't even have to waste time trying to go and generate that actual special ammo, then you just don't need to have that worry in your mind, right? You don't need to think about it. You can just keep slaying out with your double primary build here and having lots of fun with it. Now, besides that, of course, I am on the Void Walker. You know, I'm a Blink main. That's what I gotta do, baby. We got the Nova Bomb here. We got on the Healing Rift. We have on Blink, of course. If you want to float around like a little freak, you can, but I'm a Blinky boy. Pocket Singularity, a lot of great choices for our melee here, but I am going Pocket Singularity. Next, I went for Scatternade. This has a shorter cooldown than Axiom Bolts, which I usually go for, so I went for the Scatternade here. This build is really, really good, and Void Walker is really good in general for ability regeneration, and that's no different inside of Checkmate Trials. You can see here we have something like Devour, which of course when we get kills is going to heal us, yes, but also give us back grenade energy, which was also buffed at the beginning of the season, so it gives us back even more grenade energy than it used to. On top of that, we also have Clarence. If you want to call him Shadow of the Old Gods, you can, but on my channel, we call him Clarence. Clarence is my son from the Void. You put a rift down, he spawns, he goes out to an enemy, and he sucks their cheeks, toes, whatever he can get his grubby little mouth on. While he's doing that, he's going to give you grenade and melee energy back. So with these two aspects combined, you get so much grenade energy back, melee energy back, health back, just so much easy stuff. Not to mention, if you kill somebody while they're getting sucked by Clarence, you get class ability energy back. So Void Walker is perfect if you want your abilities to be up as often as possible. Now down here on the fragments are the ones that I usually do run, going to be Echo of Dilation, in my opinion the best echo in the entire game. That's going to give you a more in-tune radar so you can pick apart exactly where your enemies are and see how you want to fight them. Now that matters even more in a weekend like Checkmate because a lot of this weekend is going to come down to your gun skill more so than your ability spam. So you really need to get that information so you know exactly how to take those gunfights. After that we have Echo of Persistence. That will make your Devour when you do proc it go from a 10-second duration to a 15-second duration. Those 5 extra seconds are nothing to laugh at, you're going to want them. After that, we have Echo of Expulsion. If you do get some Void ability final blows, that will do an extra secondary explosion. If people are holding hands, it will kill them quite handedly. Now, this does give 10 intellect, and I do like to have that for the little intellect bump, because I like to be at 60 intellect if I can. But if you don't want to run this, you can go something like Leeching, or Provision, or Exchange. Look around in there, whatever you want to go, you can go ahead and go for that. Last but not least, we have Echo of Vigilance, so when we do get a kill while our shields are broken, we get a Void Overshield, which is very good, especially in a mode like Checkmate, because like I said, so many of these matches are going to come down to gun skill instead of ability spam. So when you get that Void Overshield, you can keep taking those actual gunfights with much more confidence and take those enemies down. Our armor mods are the same as usual. Of course, we are going to be using the Astrocyte Burst to help our Blink there, give us some extra airborne effectiveness. We love to see that stuff. I have on some targeting for my solar and some unflinching for my solar and my kinetic. And then I have on firepower, heavy-handed, and Reaper. Pause at any point if you want to read these mods more in depth, but essentially we're making orbs of power so that when we pick those orbs up with our restoration, our innervation, and our absolution, we do get some ability energy back. That combined with our Void Walker kit is going to make us have our abilities up all the time. Not to mention with 2 bomber mods here, we do get 17% of our grenade energy back every time we cast our Rift. In case you are interested in the drip, here you guys go, you can check it out. I am the good old Christmas Commander today, serving St. Nicholas some fresh kills straight up to his North Pole doorstep. And I think that's going to do it for the entire build here. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave those in the comment section or join the Blinkville Discord server. I'm going to have that linked in the top right and in the description. Quick stuff that I want to shout out for you guys here. I will be gone for about the next week for holidays, so I won't be posting that much content here in the next few days, but I will have some content coming out on my second channel on some Bullet Heaven and roguelike type games that I really like. So please, I'm going to have that channel on the end screen. It's also on my channels page. It's called Roger's Aquarium. I used to upload there a lot, but I don't do it as much nowadays. So if you want to go check out that channel starting on the 24th, I will have videos coming out there for the next few days. So if you want some Roger in your daily life, go ahead, check out that channel. I would very much so appreciate that. But all that being said, I think we have everything covered here. If you want to leave me a like or subscribe at any point in this video, I would really appreciate that. And all that out of the way, I think we're ready to get in this gameplay. So without further ado, let's go ahead and blink on into it. You know, the more I was actually able to play through Checkmate Trials today, the more I got a better perspective on it. I think I do like it for the most part, and my win rate today was like a solid 85%, maybe higher than that. I had like 30 wins and 6 losses. Like, it was just really solid, because the thing with this, and I'm assuming bad players will probably not like this game mode, because if you are a good player, as in your gun skill is higher, you can actually succeed in this game mode, and it feels really nice. I like feeling rewarded for my gunplay. I liked it, you know, it was actually satisfying for myself. Because in regular trials, I don't get that. In regular trials, I have to fight 6 people with 15 void overshields because they have 3 goddamn void titans who are just spamming shields, spamming shields, spamming shields. This guy's invis over here. This guy's floating over here. This guy is lighting me on fire. Now, boom, I ignited, and I didn't get a single gunfight traded with the guys. And it's so terrible, and that's why I've hated trials for a long time now, because it's just become more and more and more ability spam, and that's what people prioritize with their build most of the time. When I show off a build, usually I like to show off things that have fun gunplay mixed with good abilities so that you can all come together for a culmination of a beautiful play style. But most people don't want to do that. They want to say, give me one weapon like Layman or Wishender, which I can completely abuse and cheese just like that little pussy right there that I had to smack into the dirt, or give me a build that completely revolves around my abilities so I can sit there and crutch those without ever having to use my weapon more than 5% of the match. And that is what the problem with this game is, and that's what they're trying to address a little bit with Checkmate. And I gotta be honest, I like that a lot. And I like how many gunfights I got today. I like the lack of supers that I saw today. I saw, I think, 3 supers throughout the entire day. I didn't get a single super through the entire day. If I was running a higher intellect, I probably would have on either of my characters because I was slaying out like crazy, but overall, I don't really care because I don't want to see matches coming down to supers anymore. You know how frustrating it is when you're sitting there with 10, 11, 12, upwards of 16 or 18 kills in a match sometimes, and you have to lose because the enemy has 2 wells and a bubble? It's disgusting. I'm sick of it. And that's what I hate about regular trials. But here, I didn't have to worry about that all day because I knew that those people that had the bubbles and the wells that usually crutch those weren't good enough players that I wasn't even worried about them getting their supers. Like, look at this right here. 2 guys on the top. This is the 6th round, I guess, and neither of them got a bubble this match. That's awesome. Now, I didn't have teammates, so that sucked, but at the same time, it's much easier for me to carry 1v3. It's basically impossible in regular trials, right? As good of a player as you are, it can get very impossible to actually carry 1v3 because all the ability spam, because all the fusion rifle crushers that are just literally running around with nothing but their fusion rifle in their hands and they run up to you. That's really hard to play against. But when it comes to actual primary gun skill, yeah, you can actually start putting down some numbers and carrying. I carried that last round my teammates pretty well. I hit so many headshots here, and that's kind of what I'm saying. Look how worthless these teammates are. How many headshots in a row that I just hit right there? 6, 7, 8, I don't know. You freaking count them up if you want to. Not a single team shot was had. It was like, oh my god. You guys know I'm hitting 89 to the head every single freaking time, right? But nope, they didn't care. Boom, right there you can see 159 to the noggin, by the way, from that sturm shot, and finally they get some team shots with me. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. Fucking Santa Claus is Jesus or something. I don't know, it's Christmas time, I'm just kind of saying shit. But yeah, overall, I see the things that I really, really like about Checkmate. I kind of talked more so about the problems that I have with it in my Hunter build video. So if you want to go watch that next, then you can hear me complaining more about the problems with it. But I decided, hey, I don't just want to go crazy on the problems and only shit on this game mode as if there's nothing good about it, because there is a lot of good stuff about it, and as I was playing throughout the day, I was really enjoying a lot of it, to be completely honest with you. And I don't know, I guess we'll see, because I think the biggest problem that's been happening with Destiny for a long time now is Bungie has just been, for some reason, balancing game modes based off the lower skill players. And if you're a low skill player, like, I don't mean that like, fuck you, you shouldn't be able to have fun. You should be able to have fun, but at the same time, you should be wanting to improve yourself on this game, and you will have more fun once you're a better player, because then you'll be making better plays. And what Bungie has done ever since they implemented something like SBMM, right? The game has just gotten worse and worse and worse because people don't have to improve their skill anymore. They can just be like, you know, little toddler-ass shit stains running around daycare and rubbing their feces all over the walls while the teacher has just completely lost control of the classroom. They're finger painting on her titties, and she doesn't know what to do. That's what I feel like D2 is like nowadays with these low-skill players. They're just finger painting all over my titties, and I can't do anything about it. Look at this guy. I'm trying to fight this fucking Void Titan who's just sitting here and backpedaling me with Peacekeeper SMG. Finally, he takes a regular gunfight, I tap him pretty good, and then I'm able to blow his butthole up, because that's what he gets. Put my bags down his throat, and I'm feeling good about it, baby, because I'm so sick of the crutch. And the crutch is disabled to a large degree on this game mode. There are some things that I saw today that are actually pretty strong that I don't even know if people know about. Lordly's Splendor is actually really good. It can save your life from these higher damage guns like these 120 hand cannons. There was a lot of times, and if I find the gameplay in here, I'll try to point it out to you guys. I was fighting this Lordly Splendor Titan, and I was like, oh wow, because I would start tapping him, and the third tap would go through, but he just like wasn't dying, because his Lordly Splendor would start ticking after I think the second tap, and so he would actually live through it. And I was like, what an annoying interaction, but also kind of fine, I guess, because it's so niche, you know, and he's not just running around with peacekeepers, so that's good. But then again, every time I see a Lordly Splendor, I get flashbacks to basically fucking what amounts to Destiny 2 Vietnam for myself, because Lordly Splendor meta made me lose at least half my brain cells and 15% of my left nutsticle. So just kind of lose my mind out here thinking about stuff like that. But overall, I don't know. I guess what I'm just trying to say is I am a fan of Checkmate and what it's doing with gunplay. For the most part, bows are an obvious outlier that need to be addressed hardcore, but I don't love what it's doing with abilities in totality, because I do think the ability generation is just maybe a little bit too low. If they brought it up just a little bit, I'm not talking a lot, maybe 10%, I think it would be in a perfect spot. But that's just my opinion. Again, you know, if anybody's like a lower skill player and you thought I was like roasting you earlier, it's not my intention. It's just been very frustrating over the past few years to be a player, and I know higher skill players can relate with me on this, where it's been very frustrating where if you've put time and energy into this game to become a higher skill player, you get shit straight down your throat from the top of the Bungie dogs, because they only want to balance the game around casual players nowadays. They don't care about the higher skill players anymore, and it's ruined the entire meta and the sandbox. That's why we've been in the same crusty little gremlin sandbox for over 2 years now, because it just doesn't get fixed by the people that need to actually be telling them how to fix it. They don't listen to us. So that's what it is. But, you know, Checkmate's an interesting jump in a different direction. This guy was funny. Look at him just trying to wish center behind this wall. So I was like, bro, my God. The wish centers are really annoying. If it's like 3 people on the enemy team and all 3 of them have a wish ender, even if you can know how they're going to play with it, obviously they're just going to peek behind walls, it still can be kind of hard to counter, because they can just instantly blow you up. All your health is gone because they have triple wish ender. If there's 1 or 2, you can counter it pretty easily, especially with something like a 120 hand cannon, because you can see where they're going to be fighting from with your radar, and if you can see their bow coming and peeking around from the corner, then you can literally just wait until they're about to peek. And if you have good team shots, especially with a stack of your own, then you can just decimate them really quickly. So if you're getting sick of wish enders this weekend, I would recommend you do something like that. I would recommend you have a weapon on, such as a 120 hand cannon, that has really, really good high burst with its single shots, because then you can kind of corner peek as well and be very successful with that. So those are the kind of weapons you're going to be looking for in Checkmate trials, because you're going to want stuff that hits really hard, but it does it really, really quickly, and it does it with single taps if you can. Something like these sidearms are feeling fine. I noticed a lot of my shots felt like they were going through players today with my Dring, but I'm not just sure if that's because of a little bit of latency, or if it was because of something like just the lower damage numbers, and then maybe it just didn't feel like the bullets were really hitting because the damage numbers are lower. I'm not quite sure. I was trying to pin down exactly what I thought maybe the problem was, but overall the Dring didn't feel as good as the Sturm, but the Sturm felt really, really solid. And for some reason this weekend, like my internet's been really good, but at the same time the game hasn't been laggy. You know, knock on wood, knock on my cock. I'm hard, so that's called my wood. But the point is, it hasn't been as laggy, so that's been more enjoyable too. And I actually do like Meltdown. The only thing with Meltdown is that I don't understand why we have it again, because we've had Meltdown 3 or 4 times, I think 3 times, within the past like 10 weeks, I want to say. And that's a lot when it comes to trials maps. I don't know why they do that sometimes. It's like they put it back in the rotation and they're like, we got to use the map, it's back in the rotation now. And it's like, this map's going to be back in rotation for a really long time. You don't need to keep spamming it out. And there's plenty of other maps people want to see. But, you know, I like Meltdown, so I'm not going to complain too much. I think something I would have liked to see this weekend is taking off Dominion. I know Dominion is like, this is trials now. Oh, we can stand in a circle. But if they were going to make a checkpoint weekend, I would have liked maybe if they got rid of the cap points too. I would have loved to see what regular Checkmate trials without cap points looked like. Because most likely we're never going to be able to see that, because we're always just going to have Checkmate and Dominion active at the same time. That would have been very interesting to me to see what does Checkmate Trials look like without Dominion active at the same time, you know? I will say, I've noticed a lot, there's the Lordly Splendor guy, by the way, so you can see he's kind of living through these taps, 2 taps to the head and 1 to the body, and then it's like, oh, now he's healing, and then he can actually kind of heal out some of that damage. I was like, that's very interesting, so that could be a strategy for some people if you want to make a build with that. I think that'd be very fun. But back to what I was saying, the nice thing about this weekend that you're not going to see as much is these little Titan Shield Andes, right? These people that just literally sit behind their Titan Shield, sucking their thumb, pissing their pants, waiting for mommy to change their typey. You don't see those as much while they sit on the zone, right? Because they don't have their shields as much. They just don't have their barricades. So if they don't have them, they can't pop them up, sit on top of heavy, sit on top of the flag, whatever it is. They just can't crutch like that. And it's been really nice because you don't even have to worry about cap point as much. If you do, then it's like, okay, whatever. What do you have to make yourself safe on that cap point? Just your gunplay for the most part, and then you get to take a fun gunfight. And even if they're capping, you might be at a disadvantage. Well, if you have better aim, then a lot of times you can kind of just get them off that cap point. It's really satisfying. I like to see that. And it makes it to where I'm actually liking Dominion Trials a little bit more, and it feels more justified because I can actually just use my straight up guns and not just be suppressed completely by Titan barricades and have a chance. And that's really satisfying to see. I want to see more of that. I don't know when the next Dominion, Checkmate Trials, I wanted to say, is going to be. But if they make a few changes before then, if they adjust these bows, obviously is the biggest one. If they maybe turn up the ability regeneration just a little bit, like I said earlier, about like 10% I think would be perfect. Little changes like that could go a long way. And by the time this comes back again, I think it could be really, really solid. There's a good potential here, and that's what I'd like to see. But it's just all going to come down to if it can get the love and attention that it needs to actually be a successful game mode. And as with always, when you go underwater so you don't drown, you should hold your breath. But when it comes to Bungie, don't hold your breath with them. Now, that being said, we are on the last couple of plays here, so I do want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And overall, I just want to say thank you so much for watching all the content you did this year, for helping the channel grow. I know D2 is in a bad spot right now, but I really do appreciate you guys because you coming here every day, giving me kind words, giving me the likes and whatever else, and just showing me that you're enjoying and engaging with the content in a positive light, it really does make my day, and it made my entire fucking year, to be completely honest with you. So I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Again, like I said earlier, go to my Rogers Aquarium channel. I'm going to have that on the channel page, and I'll have a little button for that on the end screen here, so you can go ahead to that channel next, because starting on the 24th, and at least for 4 days after that, I will have content coming out on that channel. So if you want your daily dose of Roger, then you can go ahead and get it over there. And if there's positive response that I see to that channel, then maybe I'll start posting that channel again more so. We'll see. You never know. The new year has plenty of surprises in store for you guys. I'm sure about that. But all that being said, that is going to do it for me today. Again, I really appreciate you guys. Hope you have a happy holiday, Christmas, whatever, New Year's that you celebrate. And that is it for me today. So as always, have a great day, Guardians.